at the end of the day. Not every day's a victory, not every trade a gold, but he's learned to weather storms, let the stories unfold. With his eyes on the prize, his heart in the fray, T-Bus stands tall at the end of the day. Not every trade a gold, but he's learned to weather storms, let the stories unfold.
Hello, folks. How's everybody doing? Risks involved in trading, past performance not indicative of future results. In my opinion, the market went up, made record highs last night, went to 68.12, came down, didn't go very low, 95 I think was the low for a while, and then it rallied back up this morning to 09, and then we started profit taking as after the market broke that 95, went all the way down to 70, and in my opinion, it's just part of trading where the market will have these air pockets along the way, and because of that, you gotta be careful not to overload your boat, and that's the good thing about it. Did anybody get any Nvidia this morning? And anybody get any of that Nvidia trade I posted in TNT? Just curious if anybody took that trade. Yeah, small. Okay, good. A lot of people did. Good. I was wondering if y'all want to do those type trades. I saw it and I said, there's some money here. So Nvidia surged. If you look at it, it went to about 194. Okay. And if you remind me, Jonathan, I got an Nvidia trade I'll do for TNT, a little bit longer term trade. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
In my opinion. All right, I want to keep everything in perspective. If you look at this, if you look at today, we're still up for the week. Everybody see that 67, 68 number there? We came down and tested it today, which was sort of shocking, really, to me, for it to come back that far. Went to a low of 67. Yeah, 68. Went right down and tapped it, Jonathan. Look at that. These numbers work, don't they? Look at that.
They sure do work.
Man, that's pretty good. Anyway, I wanted to put things in perspective. Market, you got to quit. It's hard to do, and I have this trouble too, think in terms of points, but you're only down 0.38%, at the down move. NASDAQ's down 0.46. You have a market that has the propensity after it corrects to go over. Okay, it's in there in TNT. It's right in there. The Dow's down about 0.5%. Crude oil's down a little bit. Gold had an interesting run today. And then, of course, silver was the big play. I posted this in TNT. Silver had a high today, folks. The golden age of silver had a high. Let me give it to you. This is sort of interesting how high it got. I thought we were going to see 50 for a while. There it is. 40. It got to 49.96. 3 cents, 4 cents shy of 50. I haven't seen 50 since the Obama bin Laden situation. Anyway, that's with silver. Bonds have corrected down to that support level. 1616 is the support level. It's going to be curious to see what bonds do from here. Okay, but I wanted to do Seven Sisters. Any questions about the Seven Sisters? next thing I want to do is go over to a live market and let's look at, let's start out with the E-mini, and I want to show you what I learned from today that you could take about today. So we'll go to a live market. If you look at the market and you see the high, okay, way to go, Frank, on that 700 you made on the silver plate. Good job. Does everybody see the high there at 12? Circle the high at 12. That happened last night. Now, I want you to look at the low of RB1 before that. What was the low of RB1, Jonathan?
Let's see, RB1. Let me find it here. I'm going to draw a line where I think it is, and then I'll confirm that.
No, I think it's before the 12 high.
There it is right here. Okay. Let's see. That low was 68.02. Let me fix that line. Oops. Right there.
Okay, and follow the market. And you saw a post I did last night. I stepped aside. I stepped aside. If you come over to the right, when did we go below 02? What time was that? Wasn't it about 10:30, 11 last night?
Yeah. Yep. Right around there.
Yeah, and I said I'm going to step aside, and I told everybody in the futures and the thing I was going to step aside on a big play I was engineering, and I stepped aside. It broke RB1. I said I'm not going to stay here and see how low it goes, and in fact, you know what it did? It rallied back, got above RB1. What was the high of RB1?
The high of RB1 was 68.07.
Yeah, got above that 07 this morning in the cash market for the first time. There was a lot of resistance. It tried to go higher at 7 o'clock, jump over to 7.
Right here.
7 o'clock, what was the high there?
68.04.
Yeah, it just was having a lot of resistance getting above that. And then after the cash open, it popped up to 09, I think, 09.
Yep.
And then we sold it, reference bar negative. We came down. What's the first low, or what's the RB3's low?
67.85.
Yeah, notice that 85. That's when we knew that we're going lower. It broke that, and then we went down and tested the week open. You could have followed it right perfect with the reference bar. Does everybody see the benefit of following these reference bars, no matter what time you look at the market? So now you got a market that made a low at the weekly open, right? That's what we've done. And now the market has hovered at the high of that low bar. And the low, what was the low? 85, Jonathan? So we're at a real pivotal area here at 85.
Yeah.
That's what it tells me. Does everybody see that? This is it, to play this out. And so here's what you got to think about time-wise. It's 11:11. The odds are that this low during Genesis will create more buying and will trade back up. Well, how high will they go? There's 3 points. RB3's low is 85, right, Jonathan?
Right.
It'll go to the midpoint next. What's the midpoint of RB?
67.97.
That would be how high it would go, 97, and then ultimately above 10 and 10 to 12 area, you get higher than that, you're going to that 68.45 numbers. Everybody see that? So what we'll do is let Genesis play out and see if a low is created. Now, if you get a negative Genesis, then you're going to test that weekly open and have a serious test down there. Does this help everybody, me going through it play by play this way where you can see the benefit of following this around the clock? You got numbers, you got everything to help you navigate your way with your positions. Now put NVIDIA up here. I've been talking about NVIDIA. And if you put NVIDIA up there and you take RB3, what's RB3? High?
195.30.
195.55. Set an alert there, if you will.
Okay.
If it goes above 195.55, here's a trade I'm going to do. Jonathan, go out to the third week of November. What is it, a 95 200 or 95 97 and a half if I go third week?
They have 5 wide, so a 95 200 currently priced at $2.30 or so.
Okay, if you come in a week, can you get 2 wide or 2.5 wide?
They still have 5 wides for the 14th. They still have 5 wides for the 7th, so you might be
How about
5 wide.
November 7th is first time, right?
Yeah,
What's a 5 wide for November the 7th?
a 95 200 for the 7th is also right around 230, just a couple pennies less.
Doesn't make a lot of sense. You'd go out for the further one. That's what you'd do. So
Yeah.
if we go above, look, if we go above that 95.55, that's $1.50. What's the delta between the 95 200? So let's figure out and calculate what price it would be at if we went. What's the positive delta from 95 to 200 out to November? What I'm doing is taking a positive minus a negative. How much?
Yeah, for the spread, it's about a +6 delta for the third week November.
So it goes up 6 cents. And where do you say we're currently trading?
230-ish, 230, 235, around there.
Yeah, so we're about 240, somewhere
Still
right
lower.
there. So we'll put a limit order in at 240. If we see 95.55, we'll put it in TNT, Jonathan. Okay.
Okay, and that's still below your rule of don't pay higher than half the width of a spread.
Right.
So this is a 5 wide.
Everybody see, I want to go through the steps I did. I got a positive stock. If you look at NVIDIA, it's above the 3-day high. It's above Monday's high. It's got money flowing into it. You got a market that is sort of sideways. It's outperforming the current market, but I'm willing to go out to November, the third week of November, and buy that call spread at 240 and sell it at 279, Jonathan. That's the perimeter.
279.
So, why don't you repeat the strikes for Rob?
The strike says 95 or 195 200.
195 200. Expiration date would be November
21st.
21st. Oh, I like 21. Okay, so the trade looks good to me. What am I waiting on? What's the trigger price I'm waiting on? I want everybody to tell me. Let them type in there if they're going to do this trade, what price they want. You ought to set an alert for yourself too. Because anytime today, I would do that trade. Okay, let's do one more mark before we go back to the slides. SPX.
Okay, $SPX here on the roadmap.
Okay, if you do the same analysis, we will give all my SPX peoples 3 numbers. What's the midpoint or what's the low, mid, and high of RB3?
The low is 67.39. The midpoint 67.52. And the high 67.64.
Okay, those 3 numbers will come in play this afternoon at 3:30 to 4. Write those numbers down. I have a overnight trade I'm going to do in SPX in the last 30 it sets up. Okay. All right, let's go back to the slides if we can. I hope you learned something out of that little trip down the 24-hour market right there. All right, Jonathan, what we got on the October tickers?
Yeah, let me do this real quick. So I'm not sure we've shared the slides yet. Let me share the slides. It looks like the spreadsheet is on slide number 6 today. And I do need to update this. So let me just make sure I'm ready to update it. Looks pretty good. I can update the month highs and lows a little bit later on in time. Let's get it updated, and I'll update it again once the month highs and lows fill in.
Okay.
So the month highs and lows might be slightly off for the moment once I get this posted. But the FTD columns are live and active, or accurate, excuse me.
Anything, I'm gonna just ask this question, anything sticking out to you on the 3-day high, 3-day low? See anything on there?
You asking me?
Yeah.
NVIDIA.
Does everybody see NVIDIA on there?
I'm gonna highlight it here in just a second once I get this time updated.
Did y'all see the clue that I made reference to, that NVIDIA, out of the top 10 things the world's looking at today, with everything else going on, NVIDIA, you ought to write this down, it's an insight. NVIDIA occupied 2 spots out of the 10. And the stock itself was moving higher. And I said, it's moving today. Did y'all see that post I made in TNT? Very valuable insight about NVIDIA, way before I actually took the trade. I look for that on the things happening around the world if something gets double billing out of 10. Yeah, MU looks good too. I didn't want to cover, Dave, I can't cover every stock under the sun. All I can do is give it to you in the TNT, and you gotta say, hey, MU looks good. I'd be here all day.
Tom, you know why I like and pointed at NVIDIA, and you know exactly why. But what's been the most important stock in the market for the past year or two, however many years? NVIDIA.
Yeah, they need the strikes for the debit spread. They're asking for that, Jonathan.
Sure, 195, 200, November 21st.
It'll be in the TNT room if we go active, which we will if it goes above 95.55. We're on the trail of NVIDIA, okay?
See what else is on this list. There's your NNE. I know you like that. Like to see that.
Yeah.
Gold, silver. Nice to see the QQQ and SPY. Now this is kind of interesting. The cash is long, the futures lead. So we want to see that futures get back above 6,800. 6,800 is the number on the S&P futures. NASDAQ still looks good though. NASDAQ 25,248. It's been playing with this weak open 25,000 all week long. Still looking good there. And at the bottom here are the dividend payers. Couple new ones at the very bottom, WPay and HOOW. That who is based off of Hood, Robin Hood.
You ought to put GLW. We put that in our afterburner program today, right? You ought to put that on our list.
Yeah, I agree. Let's do that. Let's find a spot to put that. Just my eyes go to Gilead since that starts with G as well. I'll put it right here. Yeah, and I'll fill in the numbers accordingly as soon as I can here. There it is.
And this is a little insight for people. If you've had a real bullish week, typically Thursdays could be what I call air pocket day. Okay. Always got to be reminded of that on Thursdays. Okay. What's next on the slides that we got? Train and trade. Okay. Welcome to train and trade. Yep, absolutely. Now we track that trade on NVIDIA will be tracked through our TNT program. I encourage you to join us over there. That is like a reservoir of money. Anybody want to know where a honeypot is? That's the honeypot, that TNT. A lot of honey being passed out in TNT. A lot of information, a lot of insights. It's one of the ongoing education and trading things that we do. It's round the clock. I post in there all the time. Chuck posts, Jonathan posts. We always try to make sure pertinent information, like for example, hey, NVIDIA took 2 of the 10 spots. Let's watch it. That's something to look at. Okay. Anyway, go to TNT, it's $200 a month commitment. If you don't make $200, you probably shouldn't be trading. That's my opinion. What do you think about it, Jonathan? That's a good opinion in about that particular Telegram channel.
It is. I just muted my self because I thought your honeypot was was pretty funny.
Oh, you started laughing.
Maybe we should have Adam make a song about TNT and the honeypot.
In the honeypot, yeah, I got it. He's a songwriter, that's for sure.
But no, the TNT, it's really an incredible amount of information. I mean, already today at this educational session, we've looked at the roadmap and just saw the value of the roadmap software. And there's just all kinds of education that, when you pay attention, it's unbelievable. It's really easy to kind of let everything we talk about kind of slide by, and it's kind of like a day-by-day thing. But when you really narrow it down to what Tom's showing you on the roadmap and the services, it's pretty incredible.
I go there, here's what I'll do, sort of about in a lull in the day. I'll go there and start out with the pivot numbers each session, the 4 pivot numbers when you get that RB4, and I'll look at it and I'll sort of connect the dots to get a flavor for how the market's going to finish.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, what Tom has showed you today, if you think back to the roadmap section, all those numbers came from the roadmap and Tom's reference bars, right? Not just picking out numbers out of nowhere. They're all coming from the reference bars. What's great about that is that the reference bars repeat every single day at the same time. The analysis doesn't change. Anyhow, that's what I was thinking about, Tom, when you were going through the live session portion of this.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
Today's focus is
the second half of the week with the numbers that pay. Jonathan, will let you do this.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. We've been talking about it all week long. Monday, we focused on the importance of the prior week's range to set up the week. Now, if you recognize that's setting up a high and a low, a high-low frame, and then we set up the next week. What can break above the high from last week? That's setting up bullish. If we were in a bearish market, we'd be looking at the low from the prior week. What's setting up to extend to the downside? So that was on Monday's focus, and we saw on the numbers that pay, we had a tab for that told you what the prior week's high and low was. All the numbers there for you in the numbers that pay feature. Then the unique part about numbers that pay is there's a tab for each day of the week. So you could literally use it every single day of the week, and it changes slightly to give you updated numbers. And on Tuesday, we focused in on the Monday high and low. We call it the week start high and low. It's how we trade stocks for the week. It's the focus and the strategy behind Tom's Tuesday Power Plays service that does so well. Right? It does so well because it follows a process, and the Monday high and low frame works. And so we do that in Tuesday Power Plays. And then
when it's put in perspective with the 3-day high, then you got to really, the odds start swinging your way for that particular ticker.
Yeah, and then yesterday, speaking of that, we just kind of reiterated that, even though Tuesday's trade day, that Monday high and low frame, it doesn't get thrown aside. We can still use that to help pinpoint opportunities. And I pulled a great opportunity, a great example on AMD from yesterday. Tuesday on AMD was an inside day. It traded inside Monday's range, but then we saw some action yesterday, and it was an opportunity to combine a couple of the educational topics and training we've held recently. So Genesis is circled in blue yesterday. That's that white bar. And we saw a continuation day in the stock, AMD. And that orange line is Monday's high. So you kind of had a double whammy of bullishness, if that's a word I can use here, saying AMD's going higher. And what did the stock do? The stock went up another 10, 15 points. It hit 241 in the pre-market this morning. So that's a pretty clear example, I think. Does everybody see that? That orange line is Monday's high. We didn't get any action Tuesday, but we got some action yesterday off of RB3. They painted a pretty clear picture of bullish. And then the question was Genesis going to top out or provide a continuation? It provided a continuation that took out Monday's high, and then it was off to the races, another 10 to 15 points higher. And I put education, training, and experience at the top of this slide because, you know, that's what we're here for at Train and Trade. Teach you about these setups, train you about these setups, and all of Tom's experience, kind of get that across to you. Education, training, experience, move Tom's experience into your experience. All right, you're clicking the mouse to trade, take all this information, hopefully you can apply it.
What's a good chart you got there to make a point?
Yeah, I thought so too. AMD. Good old AMD. And Claire says this is awesome. Thanks, Claire, for typing in. Now let's focus in on numbers that pay for Thursday, because we're on Thursday's market now. We add in a column that says HH and LL, and that's the 3-day high and low. What that is, that's the highest high and lowest low for the week up to today. So if today's Thursday, which you see on the tab down at the bottom is Thursday, that means we had market action from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And from Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday, the high from those 3 days on the S&P was 68.07, and the low was 67.47. All right. So there's a lot of columns here that stay the same. We have the week start numbers. We have the prior day numbers. Well, we have the 3 days leading up to the day, a collection. Tom said a moment ago, 3-day high and low. Provides some clarity. All right. And of course, the color code is telling us quickly what's looking good, what's not looking so good. And notice NVIDIA is green. NVIDIA being green means it's above all the numbers in the table. So it's above the week open. It's above Monday's high and low. It's above the 3-day high and low up to this point. So it's above Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday high and low. And it's above the prior day's high and low. It's above the open from today, and it's above the pre-market open, right? All those as a reference point. NVIDIA was painting a picture green this morning when I took that snapshot, and it was the focus point of our train and trade from the October spreadsheet. All right here, and yet another feature of the roadmap that just you can't find anywhere else. I mean, you like numbers that pay? Well, good. You can use it every single day of the week. Try to pinpoint those stocks that are going higher, going lower.
And they changed for tomorrow because it's Friday.
It will. Yep. We'll have one more day to talk about it tomorrow. So give us some feedback. Have you liked this week's train and trade where we focused in on a single feature? It's a little unique because there's a tab for each day of the week. Not every feature has a tab for each day of the week. But have you enjoyed these sessions? It's kind of nice, I think. You know, sometimes jumping around from feature to feature is not necessarily, it's great to cover some ground, but some repeat education is always nice too. Instead of, talking about one feature this week and 2 weeks later coming back to it, focusing on one feature, I think has been some good education for the week. Lots of feedback coming in as well to the chat. Okay, thanks. Yep. Keeping it structured, Barbara said, is an excellent way. Yep, plus you got YouTube review. We are on YouTube. DTItwitter.com/YouTube. Click on the live tab and you'll find the recording.
Frank says, Frank had a question you should answer for everybody. Good question.
How do I add days of the week to my numbers that pay? Frank, the days of the week are already on there. You just need to adjust your roadmap feature so that you see the tab for it. Let me give you an example. All right. If I drag this feature off screen, you should be seeing my live roadmap now. All right. If I drag it off screen, the bottom of the feature is now beneath the bottom of the roadmap. So these tabs down here are for the roadmap itself. The feature has individual tabs, but the tabs are not showing because the feature's dragged down too far. I'm just going to drag the feature up so that the daily tabs actually appear. And there you go. Now, Frank, great question. Now, I will say that with this feature, you want to stay on the current day, because if you go to different days of the week, the numbers can get off. Because look, we're looking at the prior day high and low right here on this page. If I click on Friday, all right, it's not going to be the prior day's high and low. It would be today's high and low, right? Or that sort of situation. So you want to be careful about jumping from tab to tab because you might get some inaccurate data. That's why we have the tabs down here for you. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the feature shows you different data each day. So we couldn't just have one tab. We have to have those different tabs so that because the data does change daily and what data points we're searching for. But great question. And it's under tables, by the way. Tables number that pay.
Now I want to show him something. Are you in a live market right now, Jonathan?
Yeah, I am.
Hey, bring up the E-mini and I want to show him something.
Okay. Got a 30-minute try of the E-mini up here.
Okay. Looking at that, you can see the market is coming down to the low. Remember, 4 out of 5 days, it makes a low here. And so we have a low at 67, 68, S&P's trading 73. So you're getting a test of that low. And then, we're about 5 minutes into it. So it's too early to make a conclusion, but this is what I'm talking about. So we're looking for a low to mark in here for those numbers on RB3 to come in play. The way that works is, say if this was the end of 12 o'clock, or if it was 12 o'clock, that top of that white bar for Genesis is what, Jonathan?
Sitting at 67.77 right now.
Yeah, 77. It's too early, but whatever the top of that is, if this is making a low, tells you it's going to trade up to the low of RB3, midpoint of RB3, or high of RB3. It gives you such an edge by watching this time of day. Check your watch. Say, is it a low or a high being made? Now, the only time there's a difference is if it continues to make lows after 12 o'clock, then that's a continuation day. Roll up your pants leg, because the water's going to get very high as we go lower, lower, lower. But anyway, that's just thoughts from watching this thing so many times over the years. Okay. And like Buck said, that's why he loves the Genesis bar. All right, let's go back to our slides. Got a good pace going this morning. I like this.
Yeah, Tom, I'm going to turn it over to you and Chuck to finish out today's session, but I've enjoyed the session this morning. It's been
Sure. Good. Let me set this up for everybody. Last night we had a huge response to this idea I had. I thought, I mean, if it's me, I say to myself, Tom, how could I learn best how to trade? With the roadmap system, the roadmap, everything involved with the roadmap, the best way I can do it is in a live market. I can't. How many people get tired of watching videos and getting ideas, but never actually see those videos in a live market or practice where you learn? That's where you learn, right? So I committed last night to do this for the rest of the year. I'm going to take 5 tickers. Okay, this is the setup. I'm going to take 5 tickers and show people how to manage what I call the Delta 50 strategy. So let's go to the slides right now. Chuck, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, Tom, let me go ahead and switch these slides over to my computer. So I've got a
Sure.
little bit more control over them. But let's see here. I think we got everything up and running. So here we go. I think this one's on you.
Yeah, this particular chart shows the difference of the Mag 7 versus the rest of the market. 2 things happen during this stage. Mag 7 keeps making highs, and the rest of the market starts doing a catch-up move. You've seen some evidence of that, like a Gilead or a Hood or other stocks are starting to come into play. And that's why this bull market we're in, I believe, is going a lot higher, because we haven't gone through the whole set to get to a position that sets us up for a lot of risk unless the economy stops, okay? And that concentration of money in the Magnificent Seven is telling us, most technicians that you talk to will say, hey, they're trying to argue the market ought to be a short, and they've been trying to argue that ever since the opening of the year, which was about 50. I don't have it in front of me, Chuck. What was the opening of the year? S&P.
You know what? I don't have it in front of me either because I'm doing this, but 59.50, somewhere around there,
approximately.
59.49.
Yeah, about 1,000 points ago. But all year long, you've heard people don't know what they're doing. They call themselves experts, talking about market's overdone. You got too high PEs. You got all this crap to make you not buy. And what has the market done? You got the Greenspan crowd, I call it, putting information out there. Think they know something about the market. They know very little about making money in the market. That's a distinction. And the market's going higher, higher, and higher. And that's why all year long we've been pounding. Okay. And so the money will spread out to other areas, and we'll recognize those areas when it does. But I just wanted to let you know how this cycle works. Okay. All right. Now that's a Magnificent Seven chart, and that sort of illustrates what we're talking about, where the rest of the market's been left behind, but you're going to see the rest of the market do a catch-up move. And that'll be our job to find out those stocks that are catching up, creating a wonderful opportunity for you. That's right, you. If you've missed out on what we've been doing all year with the Mag 7 and other stocks.
Yeah, Mag 7 are doing great, but those other 493 stocks have plenty of opportunity in them.
Absolutely. Does everybody understand that we're in the first stage of this bull market? And that's what I want to leave you with today. We're in the first stage. Gear up, learn how to take advantage of it. Because after a bull market, you have what kind of market?
I mean, that kind of depends. It could be a consolidating market, right? You don't
Or a
have to
bear
go
market.
straight from bull to bear.
It could. Absolutely. Penny stocks, Lynette, will be the last to move. Okay? You don't want to be in penny stocks.
Right. But the point is, I think that all that money concentrated in those few stocks does create a problem for most traders. Right.
Not for us. We've seen it before. And these stocks are unbelievable prices, right? If you go out and buy 100 shares of one of these big stocks, you got to have a pretty strong bank account to do that. That's what I love about my Delta 50 strategy, okay? And so if you take a look at Microsoft, what is one share? How much money you got to put up to buy? Well, in this case, 10 shares, okay? How much money you got to put up to buy 10 shares of Microsoft? Around 5,000 bucks? What about 100 shares? 52,500, right? So if you're lucky enough to have 52,000 to trade with, you know, you tie it all up. If your account's 50,000, tie it all up in Microsoft. Well, then what if you say, well, I'd like to have some beta or meta, 71,000. You see where I'm going with this? A lot of money. This is why the option market is the fastest growing market out there, because people realize the higher we go, the more strong the option market will become in volume and everything else. This is where all the action is. So you better learn a technique. And that's why I decided to commit the time to help you the rest of the year and make sure you learn it from a practical entry, exit, where we're wrong approach. Now, for a tiny fraction of the price, let's talk about that. You get a 96% discount versus those big prices by learning options and a bigger return. This strategy I call the Delta 50 strategy. We spent a lot of time with the small class this week. They walked out there knowing this strategy back and forth. In fact, it's my weapon to trade the biggest and best stocks in the world on the cheap, like an NVIDIA. 100 shares cost you about 52,500. But Delta 50, you control the same amount of NVIDIA for pennies on the dollar. Not a 25% discount, not a 50% discount, but a 96% discount and have the same bang for the buck. Now, which one makes sense to you? Tell me if you get what I'm trying. Does that make sense to you, what I'm saying? You put less money up, but you get the same bang as having your money tied up. Give me a yes, like Cherry just did. How about Meta? Look at Meta, 71,000 tied up. But I can show you how to buy Meta at a 95% discount. Bigger payouts for the money you put at risk makes it a very compelling argument. All possible through my Delta 50 strategy. This was a light bulb moment for me, and I'm sharing it with you from now to the end of the year. This Delta 50 Masterclass, I'm teaching, let me tell you what my plan is. I'm gonna kick it off today at 1:30. Set your watch by that. The Masterclass is the only place you can learn the secret and insights how to really make it work. And I'm gonna do that between now and the end of the year. We're gonna bring all the people to bear. What is it? How does it work? How you can find the right stocks to buy at a discount, and what tickers we use Delta 50 on. All those questions and more in our special live class today. Already got it prepared. By the way, I spent time with Jonathan this morning getting slides put together. I said, man, this is impressive. I like it. Jonathan had a few ideas and we put it in there. So this class is going to be special to kick it off. But we're not going to be done with just this class, okay? But let's trade together in these tickers, 5 of them. We'll switch it out if we need to. And we're not just going to leave you with one class. We're going to keep doing it when we have questions and answers in what we do, okay? As needed. So the as needed approach. Now, I think, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but how good a teacher is the DTI approach? Me and Chuck and all of the people connected with DTI teaching about the market. How good is it? Just give me an answer what you think.
Well, Tom, Monica's answer here is that you are an excellent trader and teacher. You don't force the trades, uncanny ability to time entries and exits for profit, and teaches that patience pays for optimal results. And again, I think the big thing here, wish I knew this years ago, right? Glenn says, Tom, I have trusted your training for over 5 years. You helped me become a steady winner. Thank you. This will be fun and profitable. Don says, Tom's small classes are incredibly instructive and ability to learn is amplified by both Tom and the support staff. So what do you think, Tom?
Well, we could charge about anything we wanted to, but I'm only going to charge the low end of this because a lot of you can't get to Ponte Vedra this year face to face. A lot of you will, but a lot of you need this training, and I decided to do it live with you. That's what's beautiful about it, okay? The Delta 50 is going to be available to everybody that wants to participate. You just got to, get it. We started last night. We made a big dent in the 250 that we're going to allow in here. It's $497, one payment, and covers you to the rest of the year, okay? But we're not done there. Nothing more valuable than experience we're going to bring to bear. We're going to start with 5 stocks this afternoon. I'll give you my 5 to start with, and I'll rotate the ones out. They're not going to pay us, in my experience. All 5 will start, and we'll change it as needed as we meet from time to time. You can chat at the trades if you want to. I'll be doing it. So I get to feel the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat with you. How do you like that? I always like that guy coming down the slope. Remember that commercial? It's a master class and trade alerts all rolled into one. Small price what you're about to get. Do the math on it. You know what our track record says. Do the math on it, and you should all be on scholarship by the first, 15 to 20 days, I would think. Okay? It's time to sign up because we're going to go do it in less than an hour away for this week. Go to dtitrader.com/delta, call 904-706-3532. If you want to reserve your spot, do it now. Limited to the first 250 at sign up. And after we start, we double our approach, price, and account, maybe we'll do it. So don't delay. Get signed up. Claim it like the people did last night. There it is. Got some questions you want me to answer here before I finish up because I got a special announcement I'm going to make when I finish. Go to dtitrader.com and just, get involved. Hear the story.
Yeah, and Tom, Kate says she's so glad she discovered DTI. Wish she had found us years ago. I think that's a common theme. Through all the recent tumultuous trading days, DTI has been there to educate and support me more often than not. You saved me from myself by keeping me out of bad trades and encouraging patience until after the election. And that was a little bit earlier this year. Today was a great day to go back into the markets, a great green day. I feel like it was the first day of hunting season and hunt the big game trades we did. Speaking of that, we're going into the 4th quarter, which, Tom, is your hunting season. Break out the big racks. Ann says, I have learned more from you in the past year than I learned from other sources over the past 20. If I can focus and tune out the noise, I think I will be a lifetime DTI student.
I love getting love letters. You know that. People know that about me because I get a real thrill when people talk, hey, I made $1,200 off what you taught me on silver. Hey, I made $3,000 off what you taught me on how to enter stocks. I get excited when I see those love letters. So keep it coming.
Yeah, the best love letters are the ones yet to come. So we look to add more people into that group too.
Okay, we'll start today at 150. Start by joining the Delta 50 Masterclass. That'll be the first to kick it off. We'll set up a Telegram channel to get trades out to you to change this portfolio of 5. And hey, we'll just do that. And then next, I got another one scheduled for next week too. I think I'm gonna do it on Friday at 1:30. There it is, $4.99. Go to dtitrader.com, get signed up. Starts today at 1:30. Now, are we done with the slide?
We got a few more here, Tom.
Okay.
So I think we missed a question, but when can you get started? As soon as you sign up. So
Yep.
I'll provide the question to that. Feel like we're doing Jeopardy right here. But we got a few common questions that come in. How much money do you need to get started?
Minimum 2,000. Don't need 100,000, need 2,000 minimum.
All right. And can you do this in a retirement account?
Absolutely. I do it in a retirement account. Absolutely.
All right. On that note, do you need to be an options expert? Delta sounds a little
but
complicated.
here's something I'm going to do at the end of this cycle. You're going to be good.
Yeah, the training is included, so we'll walk you through that.
Okay.
And then question number 4, will there be trades? This is
I'll let them
asked
answer
by-
that. They will be trades. We'll be live.
that
Live,
question
live,
asked by
live.
someone who hasn't sat through one of Tom's small classes yet. Yes, live trading starts to go along the way, and let's see. So that is going to be the end of our presentation here.
All right.
If you
Now
guys
here's
wanna
what I
get
did
involved-
last night, and I'm going to do it again. Okay. Dave's made another 3,600. You a dog, Dave, a dog. I'm telling you, a dog. He came to that small class. He's racking it up. But here's the deal. Listen up. If you sign up right now with me, okay? If you sign up right now, I will give you $500 off in 2026 on any purchase you want to use it. Okay, that $500 that you're paying me. But I got to see your name and I got to see your phone number and email to make sure you get included with me announcing that again today. We'll get started at 8:30. It'll be 1:30. So if you're going to sign up, let me know and I will do that $500 deal. Okay? There's one that's taking advantage. Thank you, Mike. Chuck, you have to write their names down because this is so special. It's not anywhere in the book, okay? There's Mike. Anybody else? Tell me if you're going to join. Thank you, John. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Way to go, John. Now,
Looks like we're having a
Jimmy's
big
joined.
crowd at
Big
1:30,
Jim's
so-
joined. Way to go, Jim. Okay. Have Kelly call Alan Simon. Okay, we will do that. Now, folks, get ready to dance because at 1:30, we're going to get everybody enrolled into our new Delta 50 Telegram channel. And I'm going to give you the 5 stocks. It's going to kick off the list. And Al's in. Al says I'm in. Okay, good. Poor Kelly's getting a lot of calls. Some of Jeffrey's customers or Kareem's customers or anybody else's customers. This is a good deal. Let me tell you, it's a good deal. All right, well, thank you, everybody. And Sylvan, if you're here, I'll see you at 3 o'clock. I'm gonna meet with Sylvan. He's in small class. He's in that one. He's in the one coming up. And Gerald just joined. A lot of people joined. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'll see everybody at 1:30. We'll kick this thing off. The 5 stocks I'm interested, okay?
All right, so the class starts in about 90 minutes. And how about we do like we did last night, Tom? Give them a little bit extra time to make the decision. Get Adam to take over the screen and play a little music for us.
Yeah, he can do that, and I think we'll do it. The market's making a low. You got it's about 73, probably about. I'm thinking above. You got to think about that. Set the look at the RB. I was looking at NASDAQ there, but let me look at the S&P. Oh, yeah. Those numbers on the S&P are good. So y'all get in. I'm going to see everybody there. 1:30.
If you check the numbers that pay that we talked about earlier, open of the week, 67.68. There's your support.
That's right, David. That's the way I read it right now. We just got to get a little bit past this, about 10 after, and make a high, and we've got the low, then we can play some games. All right, let's listen to it or play a music or do something, because I think he's going to replay last night's for everybody. It's a little bit more detail.
Yeah, Tom, we'll make that happen and see you at 1:30. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Chuck.
In the early light, before the rooster crows, T-Bus sits where the ticker flows. A coffee cup, a steady hand. He trades the market like a riverboat man. Oh, T-Buzz, he's trading his way through the peaks and the falls, come what may, with a gut full of grit and a heart that won't sway. T-Buzz, he did it his way. He watches the charts like the stars in the sky, looking for answers, a reason why. Some call it luck, some call it skill, but Tom just calls it paying the bills. Through the red and the green, he's danced with a line. Every loss and each win, a tale of his time. Oh, T-Buzz, he's trading his way through the peaks and the falls, come what may, with a gut full of grit and a heart that won't sway. T-Buzz, he did it his way. Not every day's a victory, not every trade a gold, but he's learned to weather storms, let the stories unfold. With his eyes on the prize, his heart in the fray, T-Buzz stands tall at the end of the day. Not every day's a victory, not every trade a gold, but he's learned to weather storms, let the stories unfold. With his eyes on the prize, his heart in the fray, T-Buzz stands tall at the end of the day. Not every day's a victory, not every trade a gold, but he's learned to weather storms, let the stories unfold. With his eyes on the prize, his heart in the fray, T-Buzz stands tall at the end of the day. Not every day's a victory, not every trade a gold, but he's learned to weather storms, let the stories unfold.
Absolutely. Now, let me talk about one of the biggest challenges facing traders these days. Take a look at that chart. That's the chart of big tech. You got big tech, and then you got the rest of the market. Big tech has been leading this rally the whole way. Most of the technicians, most of the people that follow the market for a while say, warning, warning, warning. But it reminds me of Greenspan back in the day shouting irrational exuberance after we made high after high after high. In fact, he said that in 96, and you know, we topped out 6 years later. A little bit off on his timing, I would say, but take a look at that chart. The concentration of money in the Magnificent Seven right now is not changing. They'll correct from one, you know, they'll go from one to the other. Over time, a bigger and bigger share of the money in the market's pouring into these top stocks, and it's easy to see why. It is the flavor of the day, Magnificent Seven. And we play it like a fiddle here at DTI. We go where they pay the fastest, less risk, biggest reward. Now, if you look at the blue line, it shows the Mag 7, the gray line, the other 493 stocks in the S&P, which tells you how much you can really lose some money thinking you got a good stock and it's not doing very well. Now, money pouring in these stocks, they're not the only ones moving. There's other stocks that will come on, and we try to identify those. But as more money gets concentrated in a few of the stronger stocks, it creates a big problem for most traders, not for us. Truth is, only very few people can afford to trade the best stocks on earth right now, buying those stocks at those prices. Think about this, Microsoft. Do the math on this. How much money do you need to trade Microsoft, just 100 shares? Type it into the chat. 100 shares. So we'll go to 10 shares in a second. How much money to do that? Yeah, 52,000. Now to buy 10 shares, imagine buying 10 shares, $5,200 to just take a position. A lot of money, right? Just for one stock. Now, if you're lucky enough to have 52,000 to trade with, you probably don't want to tie it all up in one trade. You got a $50,000 account. Look at Meta, it's even worse. 71,000 to own 100 shares. 71,000 for one share, 100 shares. You know, the everyday trader, they tried to price us out, so we had to come up with another technique called options. Now, what if I could show you a way to control the same amount of stock with a lot less money? Anybody interested in following along to the end of the year? Tell me if you're interested if I do it in real time. How about going in at a 96% discount on the strongest stocks at the right time and giving you a bigger potential return? I call it my Delta 50 strategy. I spent a whole 2 days teaching the people that attended my face-to-face, and they walked out with smiles on their face because now, guess what? It's ingrained in the way they think when they look at opportunity. Been my secret weapon for trading the biggest and best stocks in the world on the cheap. Like with NVIDIA, you know I've traded it a lot. 100 shares cost you $52,000 in the market. With Delta 50, you control the same amount of NVIDIA for pennies on the dollar. Not a 25% discount, not a 50% discount, a 96% discount. In other words, about 4% to control the same share. One hand you control 4, you put up 4% of the money, it really works out. Or what about Meta? 71,500 shares of Meta. Take a 95% discount to trade that one. You see where I'm going with this? I'm going to show you, but I'm not just going to show you and tell you, I'm going to live it with you and target even a bigger payout if things go the way you expect. All possible to my Delta 50 strategy. Delta 50 is one of the most powerful light bulb moments I had in my career when these prices started getting out of sight. And we're going to unfold everything for you. Now, I don't want to do you a disservice by trying to rush you through it in this live session. So I'm going to spend some time teaching you the ins and outs to make it pay. Introducing the 50 master class. It ought to be master class plus, because I'm going to show you how to learn and trade this between now and the end of the year. We're going to take a lot of experience. I'm going to have Chuck to help me and Jonathan, and we're going to really show you how to make this strategy pay you, which is why you're here, right? Isn't that why everybody's here? The master class, you'll learn how to enter, how to exit, and how to use the Delta 50 strategy in these stocks that are going higher. We'll kick off with a live masterclass tomorrow. That's on Thursday. We'll do it, laying it out, showing you example after example. And then after I do this class, it's open season. I'm going to use a Telegram channel with my Delta 50 strategy, and I'm going to send the biggest and the best on the cheap for the rest. The tickers I use will be here. Okay?
Yeah, and Tom, this live masterclass, that's in addition to train and trade and everything else we're doing. The live
Yes, this is over and
tomorrow,
above. This is nothing that we're doing now, totally new. I'm going to do and live it with stocks that I think will do that between now and the end of the year.
So
That's
we've
my
talked
plan.
about this. We've talked about this Delta 50 strategy before, and I think you do a great job of pushing it together. For those of you who haven't heard Tom talk about this, the live masterclass tomorrow is certainly something you want to do. We want to look at how you're doing the Delta 50, how does it work, and how do you get the biggest and best stocks on the cheap. Also, what tickers you should use the Delta 50 on. It's not just anything. We're going to focus you in on what you're supposed to pay attention to. We're going to cover all these questions and more in the special live masterclass tomorrow, but we are not done there, because we really believe Delta 50 is the most powerful secret you can be trading with for the rest of the year. Not just the rest of the year, Tom, probably the rest of their lives if they really want to make this work. So, why should we leave you with one masterclass and send you on your way? Tom, what do you think about that?
I'm not
Should we
going to
send them
do
with
that.
what?
This is what I would say, this time of year is a special situation that I want you to take advantage of, and I'm willing to put the time into it over and above everything else I do. How many people believe you get your money's worth with everything I do right now? Everything I do right now, you get your money's worth. You know you do, right? This is going to be over and above for those people that want to really dive in online, okay? Online. I'm going to take and rotate 5 tickers between now and then in the end of the year. That's what I'm talking about, okay? So I'm not playing around. I will rotate this throughout the week. How many people see my Magic 5 that I post every day in TNT? Pretty good, isn't it? Well, how would you like to have a Magic 5 Delta 50 that I work with you on week after week to the end of the year? I love it. People tell me, I got feedback that said, do it. And I said, I'll do it if you want to do it. Okay? That's the plan. If you've been in my classes, you know we go over and above and how valuable they can be, but this is a real life way to do it.
Yeah, and Tom, those people who have been in your classes, Monica here, Tom is an excellent trader and teacher. He will not force a trade. He has an uncanny ability to time entries and exits for profit and teaches that patience pays for optimal results. Thank you, Tom. I wish I knew you years ago. Isn't that absolutely the truth? As soon as you start to learn this, that's when that clock starts on making it useful. So the sooner the better. Glenn says, Tom, I have trusted your training for over 5 years. You helped me become a steady winner. Thank you. This will be fun and profitable. I agree with Glenn completely. Don telling us that Tom's small classes are incredibly instructive and the ability to learn is amplified by both Tom and the support staff. That support staff, usually Jonathan and Jeff, and I can tell you I learn stuff from those guys every day. So it's not just Tom who's good at teaching. Adam's here in the room. He does a pretty good job of keeping everybody up to date. So what do you think, Tom?
Yeah, this is sort of something special I'm doing this time of year because I know people want to take advantage of what's happening in the market, and I can't be with you side by side, but I can do this with the technology we have if you want to be part of it, okay? And that's what we do. It's easy to see why the classes typically retail from $497 to $997. And I've got a special bonus in a little bit that's not on these slides, so you got to listen. So we're going to do these sessions, more than one. We'll kick off tomorrow with the first to get started because I don't want to leave any time between me and the opportunity that's going to be created. Now, it wouldn't be the spirit of Delta 50 to charge the top dollar and lock out everyone with a huge account. So we're going to let it, anybody with a small account can join at this price. We'll take 250 people. One-time payment of $497 to join the master class. I'll call it Master Classes Plus because of what I'm doing, but I'm still not done. Classes are great. There's nothing more valuable than experience. So part of the Delta 50 Masterclass for the rest of the year, I'll be trading this strategy live on a rotating basis, week by week. As a member, not only you get the details of all 5 stocks on my watch list, and the rotation of those. You also get to shadow my specific trades. That's something that's not included in any service. You get to shadow this as we do it. It's a master class and trade alerts all rolled into one. And it's really for a value of what I would charge, but since it's the end of the year and I want to do it this way, I want to take you into a great Thanksgiving and a great Christmas. If you want to join, time to sign up. And then I got a big thing for those that sign up right now. DTItrader.com/Delta, call 904-706-3532. I got my salespeople here. Now, if you sign up for this class and you take one of these classes, okay, I want you to listen up. We'll limit only 250. We'll be getting people involved in this. So after they see the results, they'll want to be involved. So we got to do that. And I know I've reserved the right to change the price, raise it. Okay. So don't delay. Don't delay. Claim your membership tonight. Lock in access to the kickoff. $499 Delta 50. We'll get started tomorrow. And what a day to start. Let's do it. Okay. And, these 5 stocks through the end of 2025. I love the strategy. I love what we're going to do. Now, if you have any doubts how powerful it is, just talk some of the stories from our top students.
Right. And Tom, of those, Kate, so glad she discovered DTI this year. She wished she had found us years ago. Again, I think that is a sentiment that a lot of people carry. Kate also says, through all the recent tumultuous trading days, DTI has been there to educate and support me. More often than not, you saved me from myself by keeping me out of bad trades and encouraging patience until after the election. Today was a great day to go back into the market, a great green day. I feel like it was the first day of hunting season and hunt the big games we did. Here's to many more green days going forward. Anne says, I have learned more from you in the past year than I learned from other sources over the past 20 years. If I can focus and tune out the noise, such as negative comments in the trade room, I think I will be a lifetime DTI student. Tom, how do you like getting those love letters?
It motivates me when I see what people are doing because, you don't get the online, you don't have that love you get face to face. But when I get these letters like this, I really get motivated. And I got a great one today. Heck, I just got off the phone with somebody that said, Tom, I can't believe you do this to help us. And I appreciate stuff like that. Who's going to write that next one?
Yeah, I think as much as we love hearing from the old students, the looking forward to who that next love letter is coming from got to be the best part of teaching.
Absolutely. So, joining Delta 50 might be a great decision, and it's going to prove out on December 31st. That's my goal. $4.99. We'll get started tomorrow at 1:30. Put that on your calendar. I've reserved it already. 1:30 tomorrow, we'll kick off this master class. Is that the last slide? Because I want to make my special announcement. The 5 stocks, as soon as you sign up tomorrow, we'll talk about it. Let me answer a few common questions I know we'll get. Let's go through it. How much money do you need to get started? About $2,000 in your account. The whole point of Delta 50 slash money you need to get started. If you're buying these stocks, you need 100 plus, but with Delta 50, you know, minimum of 2, 5 to 10 is great. Can you do it in a retirement account? Of course you can. Retirement account friendly. Do you need to be an option expert? You will be after you're with me for Delta 50. Let's just put it that way. Very simple strategy. I use it all the time, and now we're going to take it on the road right here. That means we're going to do it together. Will there be trades? A lot of trades associated with this between now and the end of the year. I'll be live trading that basket along. Is that all the slides?
I know one way to find out. That I believe that is our last slide, Tom.
All right, so here's a special announcement. If you sign up and tell me you're signing up, you will be given up to $500. $500 you will be given in 2026 on anything you purchase from us. $500 off. So there you go, folks. If you sign up, tell me you sign up, they'll log it in. Bob signing up, there goes the first $500 in 2026 we're giving back. That's one. Claire just signed up. Let's keep up with it, Chuck. We got to honor that $500 in 2026. Joe signed up. Kevin signed up. You can use it in 2026. Thank you, Fred. Yeah, what we'll do, Skip, we'll record the classes for you both. Everybody putting their name in there. David just said, Tom, you're paying people to make, I know, I want to do something special tonight. I want everybody here to do it. Sylvan just signed up. Gary just signed up. Get signed up, folks. And then we will have Adam log it in 2026 to get up to $500 off anything that you spend. Isn't this great? David C. That's the nice thing about me doing it with you, Doc. I will tailor the option for any category of option trader. Thank you, Helen, getting that 500 in 2026.
Yeah, I was about to say that response was to what level of options trader do you need to be? You need to be open to learn. That's what you need to be. So if you're willing to
Kelly,
learn, we're gonna.
Kelly, take care of Frank. He's supposed to be here. We'll get you approved. Hey, give me your phone number. I'm gonna get you approved myself. Okay, I'll tell you. Put your phone number, Dr. J. I'll get you approved. That's a promise. All right, I'm gonna write your number down. Let me do it because I don't want to lose it.
Yeah, and Frank Kelly is in the room, so I'm sure she's seeing that number right now. Probably going to call you as soon as this presentation is done. Maybe tomorrow morning. I can't make promises.
David said, right, I'm paying you to be in this class. Well, you're going to get paid because I'm going to be with you to make the trades. New bar, because you're such a great customer, yes, put your phone number in here to make sure they get you in. I got you, Dr. J. I'm going to call you tomorrow. See my blue card? If you see me put you on a blue card, that means I'm probably going to call you. Okay? You're on a blue card.
And Tom, what time is that masterclass session again tomorrow?
1:30, Chuck. You're going to be there to help me. Gwen just signed up. She gets the $500 in 2026. We used to call it DTI dollars. We're calling this, let's have some fun. Let's let the uneducated pay for stuff you do next year, and then you get that kicker. Thank you, Robert. Thank you a lot.
Yeah. Now, how many spots did you say you were giving away at this price? Because
I said, anybody that signs up tonight, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it after tonight. I want those people, first comers, to take it tonight.
Okay, so there's not a limit on the people, because I think you might have said 10 and we're past 10. You need to extend that one.
But no,
So-
like I said, if they sign up while I'm live, they'll get that big bonus for 2026.
Okay, all right, because we've
I
got.
want to be clear about that. Let me be clear.
All right, because we got a bunch of people. I'm sitting here wondering why Adam isn't keeping count. And okay, so everybody who signs up tonight before the session is done.
Yeah, tonight, they got to sign up tonight because I want to take your name. It takes a lot to go add this in there, okay? New bar, we got your phone number, got you covered.
All right, well, Tom, I think I'm getting a message from Adam that I need to shut this down because I think you're giving away a little bit too much. Do you want to tell him to hang on and wait a minute? You feeling more generous?
Now, I'm not going better than what I just said. So if you want to cut up, Adam can replay it and I'll give people credit. Yeah.
All right, do we want to do that? Adam, how does that sound to you? Get a replay of this presentation done. We'll go ahead and stop the recording here, hit the replay. And guys, this recording took about 30 minutes.
All right, folks, that was a recording from last night. Let me get that slide posted again, and we'll shut the room down in about 3 minutes and then see you at 1:30 Eastern time here in about an hour. Enjoyed the training trade session. For training trader, we'll be back tomorrow, same time. But next on the agenda today is Delta 50 Masterclass, 1:30 Eastern here in about an hour. Hey, Tom, you're still here. I'll see you then. Yeah, everybody who joins the masterclass will get an email here real soon if you haven't already.